this one is a personal, like angst of my own, really. The fire and rehire. Obviously, it's been abused and misused, and it's been publicised when it's been really badly abused. So, for example, P&O Ferry, not to be confused with the cruise company, but with those ferries where they fired their employees, rehired all these cheaper staff on these different rates of pay that were lower than our national living wages and everything else, because they were being hired in another jurisdiction to England and Wales, Scotland, and all those different things. So they're using these loopholes to get around that. And that left a real bad taste in individuals' mouths, including my own. But I also think, there's been a multitude, I'm trying to remember now, I think it was a tech company in America where they just went on live and the CEO basically bleated on about how he hated doing it and how badly it went last time. But by the way, you're all redundant. It's those kind of things you hear stories about, which are really crap. Because we'll do this in a separate show, but when you're going through these processes, such as redundancy or fire and rehire and changing people's terms and conditions, this is really stressful shit for people who are in work. And you can't underestimate that. And you've got to do what you've got to do for your business. Of course you do. That's our focus as well. But you've got to give people some rights and dignity as they're going through this. I mean, it's just a way and a means of just dealing with people and just not being a complete shit. So I think, by the way, again, if you haven't seen me before, I do swear a little bit. So apologies in the first instance, because I know we're on all sorts of different platforms and some are more okay with it than others, but I can't change who I am. So anyway, so Fire Rehire. This is going to be based on an ACAS code of conduct that was meant to come out last year, didn't materialize. So one of those promises that didn't come through. So overpromise and significantly underdeliver. We're expecting that should come out sometime this year. They're saying early 2023. For me, that'll be within the first 6 months of 2023, but hopefully in the first 3. Those of you that know otherwise, please put in the comments and let us know. This code of practice is it's going to be treated in the same way as the other codes of practice around things such as like dismissals and the rights to have investigations and all those different bits and pieces. It's important to know that these codes of practice are not law in their own right and in entirety. But if you don't apply them and abide by them, then they will have an impact on you when you go through a litigious process, like a tribunal. So in these particular cases, if you are not obviously following that code of conduct in terms of the process to a fair, rightful, and involved consultation process, then you're probably going to be liable, to a 25% increase in your tribunal fees or fines that you're going to receive. So it's just going to make your whole situation a lot more expensive. If you're doing this on a wide scale for a large number of staff and you get groups coming together through a tribunal process, that can actually add up to be quite an expensive situation. Again, I mean, when these things come out, as we always do, and other HR practitioners alike, we will follow to the letter those codes of conduct because we know everything's about reducing risk for business. There's never a risk-free option. There's never a zero risk option, but you always want to reduce that level of risk for businesses. So it would be bonkers to go in there and not abide by those codes of conduct because you know that whatever happens, potentially there's going to be a fine at the end of that. So you're not really advising people in the right way. So if you are doing this yourself and you're looking after yourselves, then it's important to know that is there. It's important to know that you should follow it. And just because the ACAS code is not an employment law bill that says you must do X, Y, and Z, you still have to follow it.